Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Welcome into
Let's
Gary
go.
Trades, guys. No.
Let me move that out of the way. We got a beautiful freaking video on AMC today, guys. God bless each and every single one of you guys. Hope you're having a stand-up freaking day. We're going to be covering AMC, GameStop, and the broader market. Let's just make sure the camera is focused in on what is going to be one of the biggest freaking videos we've had in a very long time, guys. I am absolutely freaking jacked, man. As you saw, a bounce off of the 50 line on the RSI, something we covered in our video yesterday, and a beautiful freaking breakout of the handle structure. Now, the only thing that we have yet to do on this short-term cup and handle, right, is you need to see the volume on this freaking thing explode, right? Because you've gotten the downtrend of the RSI broken, you bounced off the 50 line, you broke the freaking handle, and now you're up higher than most stocks in the stock market, right? Higher than Nvidia in percentage gain today, higher than SPY, higher than your competitors, right? And so this is a very, very big day for AMC. But what I'm watching for on the shorter time frames, guys, is this freaking high 260, guys. Can we get above it? And can we continue to freaking chugga choo choo ahead full steam? Because on the very, very short time frame, that is a possibility. You come up to 260, reject. That's a head and shoulders, baby. So hopefully we don't see that. On Webull, oh, I just flashed IWM, looking freaking phenomenal. But on Webull, guys, we have on the daily time frame a breakout officially of that handle structure, and the volume was 1 million more than the previous day. Looking at where you finished and closed, you closed directly on top of the 9-day EMA. So in order for this thing to continue and hold its bullish structure, guys, you need to see this thing regain what is the 9-day EMA, because trading above it is significantly bullish, and we already have trend continuation from this bounce off of the 50 line on the RSI. Freaking bullish, right? Last time you had it was right here, July 26th on a Friday, and your next candle was, July 17th on a Friday. Your next candle, traders, was a 26.8% boom candle, right? We all know what that was. That was earnings. And you've done exactly this exact same thing, right? You've come all the way back to the all-time resistance, right? Trend line, trading on diminishing volume and exhausted volume trend. And I don't know what it is with AMC, but whenever you post these technical bearish candlesticks, we covered it in our last video. Whenever you post these shooting star candles, AMC loves to freaking run off of these. And although this is a technical morning star formation, because the 3 candlesticks here, right? Whoops. That's a morning star, leg down, hesitation, leg up. So if you see the continuation, guys, this thing is absolutely primed to potentially see the profit target from this cup and handy, guys. You just literally need the freaking volume. You're right there. You're at the freaking door, pounding, saying, let me in. But you need the volume to come into the stock. I just wanted to show you these vertical lines because that's a shooting star candle, shooting star candle, and then that one, and then whoops, that one. We mentioned in our last video, but it's so funny that every single time except for here in May, you see these humongous runs off of the shooting star candles, which are technically supposed to be bearish. So I just want to cover that really quick for you guys. Thought it was funny. Delete all those lines and get right back into talking AMC, because not only did you have a beautiful day, traders, but this really shores up for me your weekly time frame, right? Look at where you are in the week. Delete that. Delete the handle now that we've broken out of it. Look at where you are. You're within pennies, traders. You're within literal cents away from your opening price of $256 and making a nice long wicked candle on lowering volume, traders. This is what we wanted to see. If you want to see this thing break out above this neckline and really see this thing begin to get silly, because truthfully, traders, above this neckline and above 318, there is so little resistance until you hit 408, right? So you could easily see this thing go on a little bit of a tear, up 62%, and above 408, there's this whole slide down that in my eyes would be even easier to pass through, right? Another 36% up until 556, which is, for me, the two hesitation points for AMC in this run. 556, that candlestick right there, and this one right here, 518. You may find chop at this candle high, but until you get volume, traders, none of it matters, right? You need to see the volume come off of AMC, but the wick here and the bounce, particularly on the weekly time frame, looks freaking phenomenal, man. Absolutely freaking phenomenal for the long term of this stock, because you can see pitch perfect downtrend, your all-time resistance, right? Break above it, low volume retest, and this is where things get exciting. Because if you can hold this or continue to chop sideways on lowering volume on the weekly time frame, that's where is it? That's where this weekly gets a little crazy, right? Because you just got your first 9 through the 50 cross on the weekly time frame since 2021. You've had your golden cross, and you generally are in a bullish uptrend on AME. If you see this thing begin to stair step higher, riding the weekly 9-day, and that's why it's so important to get back above the daily 9, because that's your short-term bullish trend. But the weekly 9, everything is still intact. Everything is still bullish, traders. And if you can continue to ride that, just like you did in 2021, we've mentioned it time and time again. If you guys are curious, watch my other video yesterday. We talked about how you retest this 9-day on the weekly, currently sitting at 231. Now, you didn't have to today, but you may another time in another leg up. And that's what we're watching for, right? Because if you can continue to ride that higher and higher, making higher highs, higher lows, you do have the 200-day EMA at 1894 now, which could act as a very, very, very good squeeze target to find hesitation. And then that getting above that, traders, in my eyes, is what would unlock something a little bit more crazy like this, right? Getting above the 200 on the weekly was hesitation all throughout the 2021 run. You saw the 9-day or 9-weekly EMA cross above it, and that's where you really saw this thing run, right? So that's what we're watching for on the more macro timeframes for validation that we may see something soon, or see something in the near term future. As for CPI, guys, CPI freaking came in today. And that's a big part of why you saw a lot of the small cap market run. Crypto was down, but the broader market was up, right? Seeing July inflation falling exactly where they expected it to go. Inflation falls to 3.4 in line with expectations of 3.4. The biggest thing here is falls, right? Very shocking. Core CPI inflation falls to 2.5 in line with expectations of 2.5. So month over month, CPI inflation rose 0.1 and up from negative 0.4 in June. U.S. markets rose on the news. So interesting to watch. Really, everything kind of get priced in, and no one really saw that big of a reaction. But I think that's a little bit of clarity from the markets. And boy, does the market love clarity, right? Because if you saw anything else, the market would be very undecided. So that is where we are in the monthly, weekly. Let's see. 4-hour chart on AMC. You did get your 4-hour MACD cross, which looks genuinely phenomenal, right? Really, really good. You topped out on the 4-hour chart right around 258, which is right around this high, right? It's not exactly it, 255, 260, but you are getting danger close to this left shoulder. If you see this complex head and shoulders play out, you need to see the volume now, because if you don't see the volume, this thing can easily spill over and go for that gap fill at 205. But one thing is for sure, apes, I'm bullish. And I posted last night saying it's oftentimes in the moments that it is hardest to be bullish when you should be, right? AMC was in a falling wedge or a handle, lowering volume as you got lower and lower within the handle. That's a obvious reversal signal. You've gotten the reversal, and now from Amy, we just need to see the follow through. And what encourages me about seeing this follow through is IWM saw a breakout today. Now, we mentioned on our last video that IWM was in this flag pennant formation, and the breakdown or breakout could be pretty violent, depending on which way you go. You flirted with this 4-hour MACD cross multiple times. Well, you got it to the upside, right? CPI came back green, good, or right in line with expectations, and you got it to the upside. Not only that, you retested it, and now you're seeing the higher highs alongside IWM. So what we want to see is this full freaking profit target of this flagpole, right? On top of the flag from the breakout takes you exactly into 317.72. That is going to be the point in which we're watching for IWM. Back to back all-time highs on the small cap index. Looks freaking phenomenal for helping aid AMC in this run higher to 318 and 556. Now, where did I think that's all for Amy. We're going to get into GameStop. Where did GameStop freaking land on the day? 4-hour chart. Not great, right? Not great on GME. And I think the concerning thing here is you've actually lost your uptrend here on the shorter time frames. And not only did you lose it, you retested it and you failed to freaking, whoops, I smacked the camera. Not only did you lose it, guys, you failed to freaking hold above it. And now you're kind of flagging outside of that. So there is the potential here for GameStop to get a little slippery here on the shorter term, right? Not only did you make a lower low on the day, you lost a bear flag, and that's never good, right? So the technical target for that, let's just say it's that, right? That's the nicer of the two options. I could have taken it from up here. Don't judge me. Technical profit target takes you down to about 16 to 17 bucks. Now, what I'm watching for GME on the shorter time frame is the weekly you're closing at the low. And we said it before in our last video. We'll say it again. If you close at the low, it's likely to go lower. And I think this is going to be very indicative the next 2 trading days of whether or not GameStop is ready to bounce or whether or not you're going to seek lower price action, right? You have the low here from the May of 2024 wick right around 1770. I think that's a good destination to mark as a potential area to visit, right? You've already tested your neckline here from 2024, right? This bullishly divergent double bottom here where you make a lower low but a higher low on the RSI. This is what we're watching for, right? On the weekly time frame, we need to see this bullish divergence play out. Need to freaking see it, guys. Because although we still technically have it, it's there. It's very weak, but it's there, right? Equal low, but a lower low on price now. You need to see a bounce here from GME. You just do. I mean, looking at Webull, we want to see from Webull's perspective. I want to see where's my EMA on the weeklies. Give me my EMAs. Gary the freaking Goose is saving AMC right now. But we need GME needs help, man. Just had a death cross on the weekly, closing at the lows of the week, even though the volume has been piss poor, absolutely piss poor volume on the week. So it's probably not hard to invalidate. But the only piece of price action that you really have supporting you is that wick right around 17 like we had mentioned previously, as well as the 200-day EMA, which is dangerously sitting at around $15. You tagged it during that double bottom, right? Tagged it there, tagged it, bear trap, and then sprung. I could see a very real scenario in which you go down to test that and then spring back to fill your gap at 21. I think regardless of where you pick up shares, right? This isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I freaking love GameStop for the long term haul. I think Ryan Cohen's doing great things for the company. And regardless of what you think with the eBay acquisition, this thing holds a significant amount of value at the current evaluations of $18. So monthly time frame, we're looking at that 200 on the monthly, right? 15, 20. Potentially. Daily time frame, still haven't tested your 9-day, which is very shocking. Currently sitting at 1937. Another day of lowering volume. 5 million. Yep, another day of lowering volume. So you're busted your previous low here on the local time frame on lowering volume. Not the worst sign, right? Breaking down on lowering volume is oftentimes invalidated. So that is hope there for the bulls to easily turn this ship around and go to test that 1937 mark as the 9-day EMA. That's our coverage on GameStop. We'll cover the GME warrants for my man, Only in Paradise. But one thing is for sure, guys, regardless of what you're here for, make sure to slap the freaking subscribe button, hit the like button, and of course the notification bell. And looking at the GME warrants, seeing a little bit more strength than GameStop is, still holding this valid uptrend on the short-term time frame. However, you are rejecting the 9-day EMA, still failing to get above that. And on the 4-hour time frame, nothing significantly bullish. You did get a MACD cross on the 4-hour. Weekly time frame, pretty much just printing a spinning bearish top candle, which just means continuation, right? Continuation of the current trend. You're inside barring the previous day or the previous week. So you haven't yet broke the highs or the lows here. So just consolidation off of the GME news, which is not great, right? You need to see life come back to the stock for GME. So if any news, any coverage comes out on GameStop, I'll be the first one to freaking cover it because I want to see y'all succeed in GME and likewise, right? Myself. So until next time, guys, AMC freaking rocking it. IWM rocking it. GameStop. So let's catch up. CPI came back green or at least positive, right? And as always, traders, I love and appreciate you all. God bless you and your families. And remember, the best is yet to come. Much love and peace. Woo!